Just 2 games in the new league season, 3 teams have a 100% record. The New Saints is one of them. Scored 9 but conceded 4. Are you happy so far with the overall performance and statistics as they stand?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're overall happy, I think, with the fact that we've got 6 points from 6 games. I think that was the most important, having come out of that European experience, which was a great one, but a very taxing one as well. So in terms of, I think when we went into the first game, Newtown, we would have said, look, let's get over the line and get 3 points. We did that with a very good win there, and a 1-1 at half time. It was tight, but then a good win in the end at 4-1. And then on the weekend, I think it was a bit of a different game. It was quite a crazy game. A lot of people have said to me that it was a game where it was excellent and exciting to watch. However, I think when you're managing or coaching that team, not so much. At 4-3, it was quite close. And I think 5-3 probably flattered us a little bit in that. But in some ways as well, we should have seen the game off and seen it to bed early. So are we 100% happy? No, we've still got a lot of work to do. We're happy with the way that we're creating chances and scoring chances at the moment. But we definitely need to tighten up defensively, and that's not just the defenders. We've done a lot of work this week on the 3 units, stopping the counter-attack, defending better in midfield, and the defence as well. So it's a bit of everything, really. I think even if you've got a 100% record or whatever your goals scored and against how you always want to get better and improve, and we're definitely on that mindset at the moment.
And in reference to the Carnarvon game, we scored 5 goals, obviously. 5 different names on the score sheet. Yeah. 4 of them were defenders. Was that a coincidence or a consequence of the way that you're setting the team up to play this season?
Well, yeah, I think, like you say, a consequence I think is good. We've done a lot of work on, it's no nothing to hide that you could see that on set plays so far, and we've scored a few, which has been great in recent weeks, and that's been where the defenders are coming to play with those. So that's really pleasing. We do a lot of work on that type of the game, for both for and against, with the respect of the other opposition. So the fact that defenders are adding on the score sheet is a plus, which is good. And I think when you're sharing those goals around, sometimes it's going to be hard to pinpoint who can score and who can get the goals. So yeah, we're pleased with that, but still plenty more work to come in that area.
Matchday 3 this weekend. We're on the road against Haverfordwest County. They've had a poor start to the season, just 1 point from 2 games. They'll be looking to get back on track. How do you counter their confidence in terms of getting their season underway with points on the board, as opposed to the fact they've only got 1 from 2 games? How do you balance that in terms of your approach as to how they will feel?
Well, I do think this early stage of the season it's difficult to see 100% what teams' forms are like. I think it's more after 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10 games sometimes. So I don't think you can read too much into them. We've obviously watched them over the last 2 weeks. I think it's quite interesting how they're playing. They played like 3-4-3 with 2 number 10s off a number 9 in the game against Carnarvon, where we watched and caused them some problems second half as well in that game. And I think it'll be interesting how they set up there. I remember watching the game last year, or seeing the game back last year, that TNS went down there and obviously got beaten in that game, and they played really well that time. So they'll want it to replicate that and have another win against us there, and that'll be our job to make sure they don't do that. We always show, I've said in recent interviews before, that we show the respect for the opposition. So we make sure we plan and prep for them, but it'll also be about what we do, and it really will. Making sure that we're clinical in the final third, we play the right football, but then defend properly as well, in an area that we need to tidy up on. So we feel like if we can keep more clean sheets or keep the goals below 1, then that gives us a great chance in the game.
And we've already made reference, of course, to the Carnarvon game. There was an oscillation there, of course, as the goals swung from one side to the other. We were scoring, but also conceding. How likely is that, what happened on Saturday just gone, to affect your approach this coming weekend?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, obviously you've got to debrief and go through the areas that you need to improve on in each game. But there's some areas that we've highlighted right since the start of the season that we need work on, and every team always has them. So we've made sure we focus on them in the week. We've done the video work already. We've built that into the training program this week. So yeah, it's slightly a little bit change and maybe a little bit tactically as well. But look, we need to make sure that what we do well, we keep doing, and we get back on track with that. I think sometimes if you've got a firmer base to defend, then you can make sure that you can attack more as well. So I think they come hand in hand with those two.
No midweek game, of course, so availability of players, those coming back from injury added to your squad. What's the selection process likely to be this weekend?
Yeah, well, Ryan Brobble unfortunately is still out. He hasn't made the trip. We're still looking at Astles and Keston Davies, they're almost due to come back, so done a little bit this week, so they could be available. And then apart from that, I think Josh Bailey again trained today, which is good for him, the young left back. So we're getting 2 or 3 coming back, which is good, and then that obviously helps with competition for places, especially in that defensive area.
And finally, we have the new FAW Reserves League, which is underway. How helpful is that for you as a manager and also for the players as well? We beat Mold Alexandra last night 7-0. Dean Ebby scored 3, Reese Warder got 2, Ben Clark got 2 as well. It's giving senior players minutes and perhaps young players a stage and a platform on which to perform as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, all the first team staff were involved in that game last night. We had the physio, the S&C coach, Chris Sargent, the assistant manager, was there assisting Simon with the game. So I think that's so important as well, that we take those games seriously and take them properly when you've got first team players playing in there to give them the minutes. But as you say, also for us to judge the academy players against grown men and in a men's league is fantastic. I mean, I watched the game last night and I think regardless of the score, it's more about the performance, and there were some really good performances from some of the young players that you mentioned there, as well as some of the others who are only first year and second year scholars in that program, where the guys do a great job here. So I think, yeah, to get that mixture of under-19s games that then play against men is great for the academy ones, and we want to treat those games properly so that when the first team players, as you mentioned, come down and play in those games, who, by the way, all treated it in the right way, which was really impressive, get those minutes that they need in order to get them ready to play with the first team. And like you said, it was a good spectacle to see. I've seen a few fans down here as well, which was great. So to be able to support that is fantastic for the club and for those young players, as you say, as well as the first team players who need the minutes.